Tony Marin, welcome. Welcome to Next in Line. I really, really appreciate you taking time out of your day. I know you're a busy man. You do a lot, and based on everything that I learned about you so far. So I do appreciate your time to, take time for Next in Line. Folks that know and tune into us understand that Next in Line is all about, our North Star, and our mission is just to pay it forward to anybody in their career journey, whether out of school or C-suite journey for the first time, or just stuck wherever they're at. This is what it's about, right? So that's what we're trying to do here. That's our mission. And I'm super happy and excited about Antonio Marin joining. He's a CIO and been a CIO for a long time. So I don't want to chop that up. I'd rather have Antonio do the best to, introduce yourself. Feel free, my friend. Let us know who you are, where you're currently doing, and, where you came from.
Thank you so much, Cesar. Thank you for a nice introduction, and also thank you for having me. It is a pleasure to be
My
with
pleasure.
you, and we had previous conversations, and we had so much fun talking about so many things that I'm just excited to be here with you today. And a little bit about me, Antonio Pinin. I'm currently the CIO for US MedEquip. We are a medical equipment rental company with locations across all the continental United States. We serve more than 3,600 hospitals. And one of the biggest things, and what I love working over here, is that we help hospitals help their patients. When they have a patient in need and they need medical equipment, we are there for them. And we're very proud that all the things that we have done here also drive us to be able to deliver equipment within 2 hours plus driving time to any hospital.
Wow.
And I'm a father of three wonderful young adults now.
That's right.
When my wife and I had our first baby, he was born 1 pound. He
Oh,
used to fit
oh
in the
wow.
palm of my hand,
That's
and he
tough.
had to be Texas Children's neonatal ICU for 4.5 months. And he was plugged into so many pieces of equipment at the time with all the bells and alarms going all the time. And I never realized that there were companies like US MedEquip providing all the support and providing all the technology behind the scenes at the time for
Mm.
my son to stay alive.
Wow.
So 32 years later, or actually started 3 years ago here, I would go back to 29 years later, I joined this organization and I get to be part of the other side.
That's right.
I get to be part of something that you don't want anybody to go through the same situations that we went through in our lives. But if you're going to go through a situation like that, knowing that there's someone who cares, to me, is extremely important. And we have
100%.
been able to build an organization, and I'm going to highlight my IT team here that really
Mhm.
care.
Wow.
We always talk about how IT could be a conduit for our operations, our support teams, our finance, everybody who is involved in making sure that equipment, biomeds, the equipment is there on time.
That's right.
So we're part of the journey. And it, I've been in oil and gas, I've been in engineering, construction, retail energy, you name it. It's been a long career, blessed and long career. But at the same time, I'm in a position right now where I get to do something that has a different meaning.
This one's special to you, right? This one's hit you different, right?
It
Because I did look at your background. You have some really major, big domains, right? Like oil, gas. It's huge in Houston and, on a global level. And then retail and I believe manufacturing. But now, with this one, because of your personal experience, right? You did mention that to me before. And, I couldn't imagine how hard that is. I have 2 children myself. So this one is a different mission for you. Do you
it
feel
is.
that way?
It is. It is. It's different. I mean, there's so many situations that happen here every day. We have two stories that, out of the many stories that we have here, we have two stories with babies that really stole my heart.
I'm with you.
The first
Mm.
one was in the McAllen area where there was a baby that needed a ventilator. They were in a
Mm.
desperate need for a ventilator. They called us, our team leads in McAllen, grabbed the phone, called the police, and said, "We need to make it to the hospital, but we need lights. We need a patrol to help us out." The patrol
Okay.
came. They were flying on the highway just to get to the hospital. They arrived at the hospital, and the nurse had the baby in her hands and doing compressions because they need the ventilator. Ventilator arrived, baby was safe, beautiful story. And then
Wow.
you sit down and reflect a little bit about everything that happened. Phones work, our internet worked, right? All the locations are connected. inventory system work, how the biomeds prepare the equipment, how they receive the order, all those things that happen in technology behind the scenes combine and they work. And we were part of that. I don't know where you can, I
Damn.
mean, obviously you work in a hospital and you work in other places, but working outside the hospital environment directly, where can you be part of something that has an impact? And that hit me really, hit me.
Well, IT, you can legitimately say IT helped save that kid's life.
The second story that really stole my heart is, and there's many reasons why, but there was a Make-A-Wish Foundation kid who
Mhm.
needed equipment, some type of equipment. And they called another company to deliver the equipment. And this equipment company did not deliver that equipment, so they called us.
Okay.
And we were there as
Delivered.
quick as we were able to do. Again, less than 2 hours. We fly in there, and this is a Make-A-Wish Foundation kid who the
It's
outcome could be very difficult. And
help.
there's no parent that should be suffering from because the hospital doesn't have the right equipment. There's no kid that should be suffering because the equipment is not there for the treatment. There's no human being that needs to suffer through that. And
That's
we
right.
have that very, very present in our lives every single day. So it's different, but at the same, it's exciting.
Yeah, imagine.
It
You
is
know, so
something that it doesn't matter how
that's
hard the day goes, you go home with a smile because you know you did something good.
absolutely. I mean, doing meaningful work. You know, I have a soft spot for kids. You know, when you become a father, you know, overnight it just changes for you, right? You know, you didn't realize you had that level of like. There's a different level of love that you have immediately, right? It's hard to explain to me. But help other parents in that situation and save some kids' life and things that go overlooked, in my opinion, like internet connectivity, all those things get overlooked in an organization.
And you know what is funny? And it's not only for our industry, it's our company specifically. But something that is really amazing is that little by little, I think companies are realizing that IT is not that department that sits in the background. IT is not the necessary evil, but IT is actual business. I always challenge people by saying, name one company today, 2025, that is purely brick and mortar, that there's no technology associated with them.
I can't think of one.
I've been
Listen,
asking that question for years, and nobody can come with one single name. If you're using
wow,
a spreadsheet, if you're using internet, you're using phones, every company has a technology component. Some
1,000%.
some companies use it for a bigger advantage and make a differentiation in their industries. Some
Sure.
are using it as consumers, but every company is a technology company.
I like that.
We're in 2025 with AI and all the stuff that is going on around,
Mhm.
with cybersecurity all over the place. It brings a light on what IT can do and how we can be a differentiators. So that's
So you feel like you've been in
great.
IT for a long time, right? So like, where did you feel like did that start really turning? How long ago did that start turning that way? Because before, I remember when I first got it, was more it's like you're right in the back, the data, the operators, the server room, the data center, right? It's so much more than that. There's way more. It's an enablement, right? When did it
There's
start turning for you? Like when did you feel that?
You're gonna laugh about this. This is actually comical. I always felt that IT, since I started working at the help desk, I started at the very bottom in the help desk. Now, helping people solve problems, that was always like I feel the satisfaction of coming back to my cubicle, like, yes, we did this, right? And
Knocked it
we did
out.
it right. And now we can do all these things and be part of the whole ecosystem of the organization. But one day, long time ago, I was watching an IBM commercial.
Okay.
Internet was a new thing.
Okay.
And this commercial, they had this guy who is the IT guy telling an executive, "Look what I can do with my website," and they can see
Mhm.
all these widgets and all these things moving around, pretty cool. And then the guy says, "It will be great if we can connect it to our inventory system."
Mm.
That commercial to me was like, yes, we're not here because of the bells and whistles. We're here because how we can help be a differentiator. And I'm telling you, this is when the internet started. So we're
Absolutely.
talking about the early 90s
Wow.
on the
So
last
you
century.
saw that last century. So that IBM commercial was like it kind of was like it basically was like it clicked. It showed you what's possible, right?
It's possible. It's where technology can be something that nobody has looked at us technologies for. Something that at the time probably nobody was asking for.
Let me ask you, Antonio, this because you have that. I love that perspective, right? It is the business, and what it is, right? Not it's this backroom thing. Does that resonate across, do you look for that when you, let's say you're interviewing, new talent to come in, or are you looking to, you've been in different domains. Do you evaluate the company before you go in there looking for that type of mindset?
Honestly, sometimes. And the reason sometimes is because although the title CIO could sound very impressive and beautiful and all that kind of stuff,
Hmm.
it's something I also learned early in my career. When you're a help desk person and you're looking for a job, you can open the newspaper. Yeah, but remember the old days of opening the newspaper?
Let's find my leads that way.
And you will find 20, 30 jobs for help desk.
Yep.
You go to the websites today, to the job sites, and you can look for software engineers, you can look for database administrators, business analysts, all those kind of things.
Sure.
How many CIO roles do you find? Very few.
They don't advertise those too much. It's
So,
usually confidential.
well, not only confidential, but there's not that many. You can have
That's
an
right.
organization with 100 or 1,000 programmers, with hundreds of IT engineers. For how many CIOs do you find in a company? Normally one.
One.
So it's really, really hard to break into the CIO role. It's very hard. Sometimes you don't have a choice where you want to go. Sometimes the job that chooses
Good
you.
perspective. You're right. Especially, on personal, let's say, personal preferences too. Like if you can't, to me, CIOs, if you have to be really flexible, either relocate, because you're right. There's only so many people, and there's people try to stay in that job for a long time. Um, how do you feel? Let me ask you for the CIO. How long have you been a CIO? Because I know your first job, you beat me to the punch. I was going to ask you, what was your first IT job? But you told me your help desk.
Wow.
How long did it, like, how long you been a CIO for the first time?
Oh my God. Well, with or without title?
Oh, without.
Okay. So I joined this company called, at the time was Houston Light and Power. It became Houston Industries, then became Reliant Energy, and they have an international division.
Yeah.
We're buying companies in South America, and they asked me to go over there and help with the acquisition and help model IT in Colombia. That was the first company I went to.
Sounds like a cool job.
And I was the first IT person for international. I
Mm.
helped a lot of things. At the end of the day, my title was manager of IT, but I ended up running an organization that was about $70 million in operating expense for IT.
Oh, wow.
Capital expenses were way, way more because we had 6 major companies in South America. I had a team of 200 people, and I was a manager.
And this is that's the first time. That's a tall order.
I had 6 regional CIOs reporting in my organization.
My goodness.
So that was my first CIO role, if you want to call it that way.
Okay.
And that happened in 1998.
98?
98. And then through my life, there's been ups and downs. I've been project manager. From there, I went to be executive vice president of IT for a logistics company.
Okay.
And there was a big dry time in Houston where I became a CTO for a startup company. But I mean, startup company were 5 people.
There's real startups, right?
Then went back to be a manager, went to project manager, went back to CIO. So it's been a roller coaster life. It's to me, there's more than the title.
Mhm.
What's more important is, am I taking care of my family?
Amen.
As I mentioned, my son started his life at 1 pound. I had 2 beautiful girls that came 2 years apart from each other. And do you have insurance? Can you put food on the table?
100%.
A title, the first thing I learned when I lost my job as executive vice president of IT, a lot of people stopped talking to me. They defined me by my title, not by my character, not by me being a person, which also shaped my way on how I see things. And I love my boss here, Greg Salario, because he always says the same thing I've been saying for years. He's a CEO, as a CIO, and $5 will give you a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Title is nothing.
Right?
Title is nothing. What you do with it, what you do with your role, either you're a help desk manager, network engineer, it doesn't matter. It's what you do within the organization, how you help shape other people's views, how do you train people, how you mentor, how you coach, how you build a team. That's what really matters.
That's as authentic as you could get right there. And I got to click on that a couple times, because if you don't mind sharing, you mentioned something that you lost your job, you lost whatever, and some lessons learned. What were some of the, let's say, I don't know if there was lessons learned there, or what did you take now yourself? Now you're very senior. I mean, we're going to go with all the cool stuff that you accomplished, but like, what would you had told yourself? What do you know now back then?
Well, there's several things. I mean, you have to look back and think about, is there anything I could have done differently? What happened? Some cases you can't do anything about it. It's just financials, market conditions. But sometimes is, should have been a better team player. Should I understand the culture of the organization better? Should I actually have gone to that job if I had an opportunity to go somewhere else? Did I choose the right management? Did I choose the right culture? So what I would tell a younger me, do not let the organizational chart define who you are. I learned that from a CEO because I had, in one of my jobs, I was the vice president of IT. I
Okay.
went to CEO because I had some lack of understanding certain things. And I said, I wish I could do this, but I don't want to step on anybody's toes. And the
Okay.
CEO told me, Antonio, you're letting your job be defined by the organizational chart. If you have a good idea, if you have something that is valuable for the organization, you need to bring it up. You need to speak your mind. You need to be respectful, but at the same time be bold.
Put it out there.
And I learned that I could have conversations with anybody in the organization, that anybody else is another human being who goes for a job every single day.
That's right.
Titles don't define people. Lines on an organization don't define people. So it's more about building that community. How do you build a relationship? How do you get to know what the person's problems are and how you, in your role, in your organization, can help those problems go away? Because if you become a solution provider, then you become an ally. If you become a problem, you're looking for a very short career.
As a lot of these things you're mentioning, like leadership styles, really nothing to do with tech. This is about people.
We're the people business.
That's right.
Anything we do in any organization, you're dealing with customers and employees. If you don't have customers, you don't have a business. If you don't have employees, you don't have a business. So
absolutely right.
How we go about it, finance people go with financial models, with the spreadsheets, if you want to call it that way. HR goes with policies and training and coaching and building organizations. We in IT do it with technology and solutions.
Business function just like the others and just have a different focus. You guys, I look at big time in the baseball, so everybody plays just a different position. You're on the same team.
Exactly.
Right?
And so it's, as we were talking about earlier in the conversation, we are a business.
100%.
We're not the people behind the closet with the magic lights there blinking. We're the ones bringing solutions that will drive businesses.
Absolutely. Did that, for you in your journey, right? When you were coming up at Help Desk, and from Help Desk, did you kind of grow up the infrastructure route, or were you more on the programming side, application side? What was more what was more of a skill set for you as an engineer?
I'm a computer scientist by education, software engineer by trade. So I went from Help Desk to software engineering. And the reason I went first to the Help Desk is because I couldn't find a software engineer job.
Did what you had to do.
You have to do what you have to do. And life works in very interesting ways. The way I got back into software engineering is that we're headquarters. I work for this huge engineering procurement construction company, the largest private in the world.
Oh, wow.
The builders of Hoover Dam, the Channel, as they call it, and other big nuclear plant projects and all that. And I was working the Help Desk in the Houston office. The San Francisco office said, we're going to go from DOS to Windows. So I'm out here. They brought this system, and it was really cumbersome to use. I went to my boss and said, if you give me 1 week, I can do something better. My boss told me, I'll give you 2 weeks with one condition. It's okay. What's your condition? He said, I want to make the last payment of my house. I mean, don't get me fired.
Yeah. He sounds like a cool boss.
And I asked him,
he gave you that runway, right?
Yeah. I replied back to him. It's like, I have one condition for you. So me like, you're going to put conditions on me? Yes. What's your condition? I want to make the first payment of my house.
I like that.
So it was a good team building. I have your back. You have my back.
Absolutely.
And I learned how to rewrite the Windows setup program and create a new automation way to do setup of Windows applications. And we did the first tool at the time to do remote software installation. And that
Nice.
was a tremendous success. That called the attention from the software development team, and they transferred me to the software development and the software engineering team. And from there, I went to project management, the management story I told you, and for the international division. And from then, life took over.
I love that. That's the kind of good advice that I hope people can take, especially a lot of these right now in the U.S. In the market, job market right now, especially for college grads and computer science degrees. They're coming out, they're struggling to get in the door. And a lot of them, sometimes the schools are just, they generate like this, you have to be this type, right? And it's not. It's just, let's get in the door and prove yourself, right? Then they figure out who you are. They'll tap you on the shoulder. As long as you're doing great work and you volunteer and you do things, that's how I'd rather fight the fight inside the ring versus outside.
Exactly.
Right? So that's really good. You took that, you created that yourself, basically. So I need to work and I'm going to take whatever job they give me to help us.
Times are tough. And the young generation has a tough challenge too, probably worse than we did. I had an interview in a computer manufacturing company when I was coming out of college.
Okay.
I graduated from University of Houston downtown, which is not a name in computer science.
It's not known for
anything. I came out of the great university, a great education, small group, so I was able to learn more because I was in a very small environment instead of being in classrooms with hundreds of people.
That's a good perspective too.
And so I came out and I was interviewing with this person at this computer manufacturing company. He had my resume because a friend was able to put my resume ahead. And behind him, he has stacks of paper.
Okay.
Behind his desk, there were stacks of paper. He looks at my resume, University of Houston downtown. Why should I talk to you?
Okay.
Because you see the pile? MIT, Notre Dame, Harvard, UCLA, Stanford.
No. Okay.
And I told him because it's not where you school that you go to, it's what you learn in that school.
100%.
It is not, I mean, yes, there are phenomenal schools. Yes, there are incredible people that come out of those schools. But a school doesn't define the human talent, doesn't define the character, doesn't define who you are.
I mean, that's powerful. I'm with you on that.
Did you get the job though?
You did. You said you didn't, or you got it?
I did not get the
He didn't get the job. He had too many piles of resumes.
Hey,
So it didn't resonate with him at the time, right? But it got you in the door somewhere else.
but it happened at the end, right?
Let me ask you that. When you approach, candidates that come to you, I mean, how do you evaluate more credentials or intangibles?
There's many things that you do, but there's a few that I really focus on. College degree doesn't mean that they're going to be good employees.
Great.
You can find people that don't have college degrees that are phenomenal employees. The only reason I like to see people with college degrees, well, there's a few reasons, is number one, the college degree is not what you get the college degree on. It tells me that you have to take classes that you didn't like, but you have a goal in mind and you are willing to do anything to achieve that goal. If you look at that in the business world, there's projects that we don't want to take on. There's certain things that we're not going to like.
You don't have a choice, right?
Well, you need to deal with those things.
You have to.
So knowing that somebody can put up for 4 years, which probably 2 years of education are things that they don't like, it tells me that they can be resilient.
That's a good perspective. Very good.
So if they finish the college or they finish high school, or they learn continuously, they get certifications, what tells me that they're lifetime learners. If you work in IT, and you and I had this conversation a few days ago, IT is not a job. I never seen it as a job. It's a lifestyle. Technology changes every day. And if you don't enjoy it, if you're not curious about what's the next thing or why you can apply the latest technology to do things differently, to challenge the status quo, then it's just a job. And I've seen
may not have a job long if you don't, especially in IT.
You'll be either outsourced or AI outsourced. So that's and to me, those two things combine with another one that I think is attitude. You are willing, excited, motivated. It doesn't matter what I throw at you. You're going to succeed at it because you have the passion for doing it. But if the person comes to the first thing they ask you, how many days of vacation we're going to get here, or I don't want to receive calls after 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or it's like,
it's IT. You're right. That comes with the territory.
I mean, here at US MedEquip, one of the things we always say, nurses don't rest. If you go to a hospital, what would happen if we use the same kind of thinking when you go to a hospital? If the nurse says, sorry, don't call me after 5 o'clock.
I mean, somebody could lose their life, man. That's a different ballgame. different states.
Our systems work 24/7. So yes, work-life balance is extremely important. So I tell my team and I try to motivate my team to say, hey, the better job we do at having very strong, successful projects and strong infrastructure, the least we have to worry about answering a call at 3 in the morning.
Agreed, 100%. Yeah, so that you're not dealing with, backlog and maintenance and things that you have to you could have done already, right?
What
It
tools
could be better.
where can you leverage technology to help the technology department to be self-healing,
That's right.
be operating 24/7 without having to sacrifice your personal life?
So, Antonio, let me ask you this because I love the hiring, your perspectives or your approach to it too, because you look deeper than just credentials. Credentials are important to you too, which I think that you make a great point, right? Because you got to go through um, things, 2 years of stuff that you don't want to do. Like, who wants to take, if you want to be a computer science major, why are you going to take history again, right? Like, is that really going to help me? So you got to just knock it out so you get to the good stuff. So let me ask you, as far as it evolves in your team on, let's say, special products or innovation, you can't have everybody work on it at the same time. How do you divvy that up? Like, how do
Well,
you give opportunity?
well, we don't several things, and sometimes I start preaching too much. I tell my team to one very important thing that to me I very feel proud about them. I want them to be recruited by any company out there. I want them
Mm,
to calls from recruiters. I want them to interview with other companies. I want them to be wanted by other companies.
wow. That's a different. I haven't heard that one before. Like,
But
I
you know what?
understand where you're going, but people don't normally this
I
transparent.
want them to do it because first of all, you want to open doors for people.
Sure.
I'm in a position that I can either help a career or destroy a career, right? It's very easy to be a really bad manager, bad leader, or you could be a good human being.
Yeah.
I fight to be on the good human being any day. I wanted to be wanted because that means one thing. Their skills are up to date. They're valuable in the
That's
market.
right.
If nobody wants you, what good I will be doing to my company, what good I'm doing to that person, what good I'm doing to myself if my employees are not top level employees.
Across your organization. So, like, what type of opportunity or benefits do you guys provide to help them become more marketable that way?
Well, there's a lot of things, but on the other side, let me just finish that part real quick. I
Sure.
want them to stay because they love the place. I want them to stay because we create an environment where they feel what they do is important and meaningful. Because the grass is not always greener on the other side.
Amen.
And I learned that through many jobs. So back to your questions. What I've done is here, and I get with my team and we discuss different ideas. And sometimes you have to push a little bit harder. But what I
Okay.
did is like when we have our monthly meetings with the team, normally they listen what each department is doing by the department lead. But I didn't want them just to listen. So what we did, we have a development team, we have an infrastructure team, cybersecurity, business analytics team. So what I asked them to do is that I would choose people from the different groups and they had to represent the other group. So the
Okay.
BA had to represent the infrastructure had to present software development. So
I
they
love
had
it.
to get to the other group, learn, and set a monthly meeting so they can explain what the other team was doing. What it does is like people start realizing like, I'm help desk. I could help you with this. Infrastructure, oh my God, if I know how to do this, I can save you some time here. Development is like, why am I giving you a hard time if I can do these other things? So everybody
That's
start
smart.
looking after each other and start
Absolutely.
building that fraternity or that brotherhood and sisterhood
You break down
that
those walls
we
too,
can
right?
break the silos. So
That's
the other thing that we're doing is, and this is a reason, with all this AI thing, everybody's like, where is AI going to fit? And there's some people who think AI is the magic pill that is going to
oh,
solve the problems. And you have the other people who said AI is the source of all the problems. Well,
mm,
you really don't know what AI can do if you don't use it, if you don't learn it.
that's right.
So I threw a challenge to my team recently where each member can volunteer. We're going to have weekly meetings where they're going to present to the rest of the team either a way to improve a process or how to use AI, either in
Okay.
personal lives or for the business, and show us what they're doing. There's
Mm,
no judgment. There's no bad points, no nothing. It's
yeah.
just play with it.
kind of
or in
showcase how
showcase.
they leverage it. Wow.
And I'm sure some great ideas are going to come out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that we're going to break that, if you want to call it the fear barrier, like I'm too
Mhm.
busy for these things, or it's
Yeah.
never going to be my case. I don't need to worry about it. Again, the idea is that they keep their skills at a level that they will be very marketable.
It just never ends. Continuous education. Like, it's your responsibility. So that is absolute. I love that challenge, by the way. And I love that you have each different department represent each other at these meetings.
But you know what I love the most, especially with the challenge? The people who reply back within seconds I send that email. I won the first day. I won the second one. I won the third one.
Damn.
That's
So you
really
get that level of engagement. That's when you got some. You're onto something good there, right?
that's
Now you kind of
exciting.
got some players. How big
Oh,
is your team anyway? Like, I mean, I know. Well, your current organization now, but like throughout the domains in the history, you've been a CIO for a long time and different domains. What ranges was it from, like team of 5 to 200 you mentioned, or like how
the
what's
smallest
your range?
the smallest team was 5, which was the startup company. The largest was the 200. And for most of my career, I like to keep teams that are between 15 to 30, 40 people.
Is that like a sweet spot? Like you like?
Well, there's many reasons for that. Number one is I like to meet my team members one to one. I want to know what are the triggers that make them happy. I want to know them. I want to know their families. They're my family. So I want to get to know them. I
Sure.
want to be able to spend time with them. If we have an event, I want to have them all of them in one place.
Nice.
And
Include everybody.
again, we're dealing with people. We're not dealing with numbers. When you have 200 people on your team, basically you have 3 or 4 direct reports where you build the strongest relationship. But even
Yeah.
then, I like to meet every single person,
Yeah.
but you cannot spend as much time with 200 people as you can do with a smaller group.
For sure. It's very difficult.
And I also I call them my ninjas. You know that
I like that.
I can conquer the world with 10 ninjas.
The right ninjas, absolutely.
You have the right talent, you can do whatever you want. And I think that's been demonstrated not by me, but by the IT industry itself. We are very proudly recipients of the CIO 100 award in 2024 and 2025. Those are national awards, and they are qualified by CIOs around the country. So you don't even know who is looking at these things. And
Oh, wow.
they saw the value that we created here. And for a company our size, winning 1 year is great. Winning 2 years in a row,
That's not a fluke.
it's not a fluke. You and I meet at the Houston CIO Awards.
The Orbit Awards, yeah.
One of my proudest moments is that in 2024, the director of IT infrastructure and cybersecurity won the CISO of the year.
Wow.
So
that's cool.
I've seen this team growing and achieving so much that is super exciting and very fulfilling. That is.
So what's the average tenure there? Like, that's sounds great. Like you've been working there for how long now?
3.5 years. We have some periods where this is not a job for everyone. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
If you don't want to get calls in the middle of the night, working with hospitals is not the best.
Well, it comes with that. You have to. It comes with responsibility.
But the majority of the team has been here for, I would say, 75-30% of the team has been here actually since before I arrived.
Before, okay, that's great. I mean, so because usually when you come into a new organization, there's always that fear factor of like, they're going to bring my team, they're going to bring people with me, and all that kind of stuff. How do you evaluate when you go into a new organization?
Well, there's a couple of things. Number one is I'm not the kind of manager that comes and replaces people with their own employees. I want my employees to, if I leave a company, I want them to stay in that company and take the next level. I want the next CIO to be someone who I brought up through the different ranks. And we have a few examples of that throughout my career, which
you do. That's great, man. That says a lot.
The other thing, coming into an organization, you don't know the management style of the previous person. Why would I punish an employee that supposedly doesn't perform when that person may not have been managed properly, or that person got not been motivated properly? It's very unfair to hear rumors and comments from people say, oh, this person doesn't work, this person is this. I like to make those decisions by myself. But most importantly,
you haven't had the opportunity to assess it, right?
Well, most importantly, they need to assess me. They need to assess if I'm giving them the right tools, giving them the right opportunities for them to blossom and to be someone in the organization. My job is to work for them.
To
So
serve them.
they may decide that I'm not the right management style that they want. They may decide that they probably like a other type of organization, maybe. But normally, what I've seen is that some people don't like the change, but they decide to change somewhere else.
It takes care of itself,
It
right?
goes
But
all over
it
the
sounds
place.
like you give a good opportunity to everybody. Like you're saying, assess me first.
They
See
need,
if this is a fit.
yeah. I mean, you just get a job. You go into the organization. Why do you want to be the one cutting heads left and right without having an opportunity to know what's going on? On
Yeah,
the same token, they need to see who you are, who you truly are, not
sure.
just a resume, not just like, oh, this person was brought in because the CEO wanted to hire somebody else.
Hmm.
Give me an opportunity. Let me show you what I know. I'm one of you. I've been laid off. I went through the ranks. I went through my careers being help desk, software engineer, project manager, you name it.
Mm.
Test me. Put me to the test. And if you feel that I'm the right person for the job and you want to stay in the organization, let's go get those big goals. Let's go change the world.
Why not? Why not? So let me ask you a question because you mentioned something there. You said you were laid off, right? Were you a CIO at the time when that happened?
On all levels. I've been laid off.
All levels.
All levels.
Yeah, all right.
Got there.
So the reason why I ask, because sometimes that happens all the time, right? It happens a lot. It's nothing to do with the individuals. But my advice, I try to give advice to a lot of CIOs that, let's say, find themselves on the bench all of a sudden, right? What kind of advice would you give somebody right away? They get caught unexpected. They've been a CIO for 7-10 years, and the CIO jobs are not out there. Like they're not advertised everywhere, right? What kind of advice would you share with them?
How much time do you have?
How much cushion we have here, right?
Okay,
You have a soft landing. It all depends on that. But even with that soft landing, though, I like to.
No.
What do you think?
There's different ways. The first one I would say to people who are in any level of IT, network. Your
Amen.
network is extremely important. Most of the jobs that I landed were recommendations from other CIOs and people who knew me. Not through submitting resumes, not from just reaching out to my network and say, hey, this happened to me. I'm looking for a job. And people say, oh, I just got a call from somebody. I just go, you know what? I interviewed for this company, but you will be better for that company than I would. So your network is important, but let me highlight these bold letters, capital letters, wherever you want to put it.
Tell me.
Be honest on your relationships. Do not network because you're going to get something out of it. Be network because you want to build strong long-term relationships. That's the number one. Number
Absolutely.
two, you are like $100 bill when you're a CIO. You feel like you're on top of the world. When you lose your job, you feel like somebody crumbled that dollar bill through on the floor and you're worthless. Keep in mind that you're never that high, you're never that low. Always be
Even keel.
true to yourself, even keel, and that some people appreciate you, great. Some people don't appreciate you, great. That doesn't change who you are. So be again,
Right.
not just be honest with your friends, be honest with yourself. Third to me, the most important one is, well, third and fourth would be third, don't be in love with a title.
Yes.
Titles come and go. Call me whatever you want. I tell people, you know what's the most important? There's several titles in my career that are extremely important. CIO is not one of them. The titles that I feel that are more important are employed, because I need to provide for my family.
That's right.
Husband and father. Outside those titles, call me whatever you want.
I love that. That is so true, though.
Obviously, son. My parents are not anymore, but being a good son to my parents was important.
100%.
Those are the titles that to me have more value than anything else. Call me manager, director, VP, call me employed.
Employed, right? I love that because, sometimes a lot of the industry, just in general, they get caught with status, right? It's okay. It happens. It's going to happen. It's a tough role. It's a tough job because, sometimes you have nothing to do with you and, things change.
It rarely has something to do with you. So sometimes it's what it is. And that's what the four point is very important, which is it doesn't matter how many times you fall. Important thing is how many times you stand up.
Amen.
You're never going to get to the next job if you stay down. If I may share the story with you and
Please.
your audience, all those 4 points happened to me in 2 days. It was 2019, 2020. I'm sorry. There,
Oh,
Houston CIO was having the Orbis for the for the CIO of the year, and the day before, I got a job interview at a company outside of Texas. I'm located in Houston, Texas. This was in a different state. And I walk into the interview, and this guy told me, you're not our primary candidate. We just want to see how you look like in person.
mm.
Thank you for coming. And it's the court.
That fast of an interview? That was it?
It was a very quick interview. After I flew to that city and all that kind of stuff, I was really angry. I called my wife and said, you know what? I'm glad this happened now because that's not the kind of company I would like to work for. And I'm not going to move. My kids were already in college, so I'm not going to move you to a different city and life when a company treat people like that. But still, I was really angry and said, you know what? Cancel the hotel for the Orbis tomorrow. I don't want to lose 2 days in a row. I'm a bad loser in that sense. So it was like, I don't
Mm.
want to lose twice in a row. Forget it. I got on the plane, flew to Houston. My wife said, you know what? I couldn't cancel the hotel. It's too late. And I was very calm. I was driving home and I said, you know what? Let's celebrate my friends. Let's
Oh,
go
man.
celebrate my friends. They are running for CL of the year as well. I know them all. You know what? Let's go have a good time. Let's enjoy the
Nice.
breakfast. No expectations. It's like, but let's go cheer them on. To my surprise, my name was called.
Wow. That is pretty cool.
So one day you're one day you're up.
You're here, and then, man,
One day you are the $100 bill. The next day you're not.
you're crumbling. Now you're back, and wow, man. I
And
mean, Antonio, that's a roller coaster for sure. I mean, that's in that 24 hours, your emotion must have went from like, I could imagine disappointment and anger to like, probably couldn't, in your head to like, let me help my friends out and just be humble. Right. And then you get your name called.
I believe in God, so God has a plan. He was showing me that yes, you will be down, but you can get up.
Also
Well,
tell you, I got you.
one person was at that event who called me 2 years later and placed me in this job that I have today.
No way. So,
That
oh,
event,
wow. That's like on top of winning, they saw you, they heard it, and now they placed you.
2 years later.
That's awesome.
And again, it's one of those things where what if I haven't gone? What if I have gone like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm already down. I'm not gonna stand up.
What if she canceled the hotel? She
What if
probably, right?
Exactly. It's you get all those what ifs, and then you realize, like, you know what? There's a time for everything. You need to stand up. You need to fight. You need to know that you are, for good, bad, or indifferent, you are who you are.
That's right. That is amen, man. That's probably one of the heartfelt, that message would definitely resonate with a lot of people. It doesn't matter the level either, right?
I mean,
Because we all get, we get punched, you get knocked down, you got to make adjustments, you do what you got to do. But
yes,
what I think that's your little North Star too, which I can appreciate, is you're very humble, man. You say stuff like employ, my family, my wife, as a husband, my family. That's what you prioritize over a title. You do what you got to do. Call me whatever, right? Project manager, program. I don't get employed. I like that, right? I like employed.
you have to provide for your family. You have to provide for yourself. You have to provide for the people. And you're not just, that's a very egocentric way, but reality, as a CIO, if I'm doing my job right, I'm not hiring people in extreme just to create an empire of people and say I have the largest department. Things go down financially for companies because every company is a roller coaster. You're gonna have good times, you're gonna have bad times. But if you
Absolutely.
can keep your team protected and you give them stability across their careers, which is something I didn't have. If you can give them stability across their careers, their families are going to be okay.
That's right.
Their life
I
is
like that.
okay. So we have a responsibility, not only for our families, but for their families.
You take that on. I could tell.
I tell my managers when they're hiring people, do we need this person? Are they going to be contributing to the team? The reason is this. When you hire someone and they receive that offer letter, what happens? And you've been in the business, you know what happens.
Oh yeah.
They're excited.
It's
You can see the pride in their eyes. You can see, I'm sure they take the family to a nice dinner. They take them to celebrate. It's a celebration.
it's always, I'll tell you what, it's pretty cool giving that news to people too. It doesn't get old. It's the coolest thing in the world.
What happens when you have to lay off somebody because you did not do your job right?
That's hard.
The disruption that happens in the family, the vacation that we're going to take, the school for the kids, the uniform, the baseball team, all those things that trickle down. Well,
Yeah.
we have
Right.
the responsibility. We have the privilege to have the responsibility. And it's something that I take very seriously. I have managers that let me off with a smile on their face.
Wow, man.
And I have,
So your managers that with you, you've been with these guys for like 3 years. Are they new team members or they were there already?
the CEO is the founder of the co-founder of the company. The chairman of the board is the other co-founder. And most of the C-suite, we came together about the same time.
This is a whole, okay, that's pretty cool.
We are private equity owned. So the CEO started building a team and we built a very strong cohesive team. Well, our chief contracts officer has been here for 16 years, give or take.
That's the veteran of the group.
Chief officer has been here for about 12, 13 years. Chief communications officer and I started at the same time. Chief financial officer started about the beginning of the year, actually, so the same month. And the chief operating officer has been here about 3 years as well.
You know, Tony, let me ask you this, because you talked a lot about managing your team, specific within IT. How important it is for someone like a CIO to manage up or manage peers?
I don't like managing up because that means that I'm trying to do something that I'm not used to. Although in the past, sometimes somebody accused me that I was managing up too much, but it's not. I believe that if you manage from, and I call it the noise, when the operations teams, when the field teams start having issues because IT is not there for them, because technology is becoming a handicap and not an enabler, that noise goes to management, that goes to the directors, that goes to the VPs, that goes to the level up. The best way I can manage up is make sure the people who do the job is taken care of. If we are part of the solution, not the problem, then my relationship with the C-suite, with the board, is more about how are we enabling the business to do more.
Absolutely.
And I don't see that as managing up. I see it as a conversation of equals. I don't know. Does that make sense?
No, 1,000 actually, because it's going to lead me to this one too, because it's like you're kind of handling change management at the same time there, right?
Well, the important thing is not who got the idea. The important thing is how do we get together to define what the idea is so we can get the better results. And back to the premise of the question about the people in the organization. If we grow the business, everybody has job security.
100%.
We make bad decisions, people suffer, customers suffer. In our case, patients suffer too.
It could be.
It is. We have to make the best decisions as a team. We have to be aligned as a team, and we have to support each other as a team.
I got a question about that a little bit. Let me ask you, just because obviously we touched a little bit of AI, but it wouldn't be a podcast without another AI question or two, right? Have you noticed, or has it happened? Has it increased shadow IT a little bit? Like, so I feel like I'm hearing it.
Well, let's go back to historical IT. Traditional IT has been the IT of no. Again, dating myself. BlackBerries came out. IT, you cannot have a BlackBerry. What the managers do? They got the BlackBerries.
That's right.
Oh, you cannot have this. So instead of being an IT of no, the conversation is, how's that going to work better for you? How's that going to help you? Let me help you.
Absolutely.
You want to do that? Great. But let me tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. You make a decision if you can use it for your own area. I'll just tell you, I'll guide you. I'll be your coach. I'll be your consultant, if you want to call it that way. But the other part of it is that as an IT, you have to be the instigator of that.
Okay.
We have a system that we developed here called GoUSME Connect. It started in one of the major hospitals around the country.
Okay.
And by the way, in IT, if you sit behind the desk all the time, you're never going to learn anything about the business, how you support the organization. So I was in a major hospital up northeast, and the nurse was ordering beds, and she was like, I wish I could order by clicking one button. I don't know why I
Wow.
need to go to the portal. I don't know why I have to grab a phone and call somebody. I'm too busy. All of the information is here. I just want to click one button. Well, when you try to work with enterprise systems like EMRs that they have in hospitals, it's extremely complicated because of the security rules, all the API connectivity are major projects, are really major and
Sure.
expensive projects. So we had to devise a way to give the nurse what she wanted. She wanted to click with one order with one button. Well, we realized that most EMR connectivity systems use certain technology that is used in the with insurance companies and all that.
Hmm.
So we build a tool that actually gets a message from the EMR connectivity from the EMR system,
Okay.
uses to understand the message, and uses machine learning to learn the different methods that they can send information.
Oh, wow.
We call it GoYosemite Connect. We do not integrate to hospitals. We connect with hospitals. The end
Gotcha.
result is that the nurse clicks one button, the order is generated, sent to us electronically. There's
Okay.
no APIs, no nothing. We get that. We have an automatic
That's huge.
process. We get an automatic process going behind the scenes. All the information they have in the EMR system is translated safely to us with a competent encryption, security is validated, and we create the order in our system. So
Okay.
between nurse and person who is going to deliver, the process takes less than 30 seconds.
And no APIs, no integration, nothing, no
Nowhere to-
disruptions.
No, just AI. For the hospital
And
system,
then you wrap clients, everything around because highly regulated environments, right? So,
for the hospital system takes about literally on their configuration side, probably it can take them a day or two with all the testing and all that kind of stuff that needs to go. It's a
oh yeah,
2 week process.
and
For us,
that's probably on a good day. Like if it's lucky.
but it's 2 week process. And for us, it's really 1 day of training the machine learning model.
Wow.
So we
How
can
long ago did you guys implement something like that?
we went live with it at the end of 2023.
Okay.
We have it in several hospitals around the country, major systems.
Wow.
And it's been phenomenal. The clinicians tell us that they love it. From the operation standpoint, hands-free or free because the information that is in their system is in our system.
Just from a messaging. So I mean, I imagine you said 3,600 hospitals. I'm just, I'm a
30
business entrepreneur. So I'm thinking like, that's a great revenue opportunity for your company. That's
Well,
innovation.
it's a major differentiator. So this is as we talked about earlier, this is how IT becomes part of the solution. This
That's
is
right.
how it helps the organization increase revenue, customer satisfaction, and most importantly,
Huge.
if there's no human in between the nurse and the order, that means that we can deliver the equipment faster. That means
Wow.
that the patient in need is gonna get the equipment ready. There's some hospitals that are so large that we have equipment in the hospital.
So you have inventory on site.
We have an internal site, but instead of coming to call center and go through the whole process around, it goes from point to point. Normally, and these hospitals are massive.
Yeah.
You can walk a quarter of a mile to go from point A to point B.
Wow.
Remember that I told you our SLA was it is 2 hours post driving time
Okay. Wow.
because we had the equipment location, everything worked perfect. The fastest bed that we had delivered was 15 minutes, and that's because
From
you had
the solution, like
you had
leveraging this.
you had to prepare the bed for the patient. You had to make sure it's configured properly. And then we had to, well, the customer service rep had to walk like a quarter of a mile to deliver the bed. And you had to wait for elevators and all that kind of stuff.
15 minutes.
When the bed
You have
arrived,
an escalator.
when the bed arrived, nurse sent us a very nice email saying like, wow, this
That's
is
cool.
fantastic.
Let me ask you this: when you said you wouldn't have probably learned that opportunity if you weren't, on the front line, right?
You have to listen.
So that nurse, the nurse that made that comment, does she know that she's part of that solution?
Yes, she does. We gave her
That's
we gave her all the credit in the world because it was her idea. Her idea made us think about how can we help.
that's got to make she's basically one of your customers, right?
Yeah, she is.
That's awesome. And look how many people it benefits now because like you guys roll this out in other hospitals and other
We
patients.
have
I mean, that's good work, man.
systems up north and middle states, and I mean, at the end
You
of the
cover a
day,
lot of ground.
if a nurse, a clinician, is not wasting time with paperwork, is not wasting time with complicated orders, they're actually investing that time on patients.
That's huge. That's a big win. So Tony, let me ask you this. That's phenomenal, man. Congrats. And congrats to the team and that nurse, right? Made it happen.
Amazing.
Originating the idea. So remember our mission again, like you share so many cool things here. I mean, and I know, speaking to you a couple of times, I know there's a ton more nuggets there. How can people like if you wanted, like people get best way to get in touch with you? Is it LinkedIn? I mean, just because there's some people that I've noticed leaders that we've had on the podcast, they've been paying, just to, questions and things like that. Is that something you would make available to yourself if LinkedIn or something like that?
Absolutely. LinkedIn is an easier method to contact me. Obviously, I have a day job, so I try to reply as soon as I. But yes,
You got
if
to
people
take care of the family first.
if people contact you next in line and they want my information, I, I trust you. You're a great
Thank you.
human being, and I consider you a friend now after all the things that we work and talk together. And
I'm honored, man.
tell me, talk to this guy, I'll do it.
I really appreciate that too, because I do work with a lot of hospitals. So, collaboration and sharing wins that might be able to help another organization, right?
One of the beautiful things about IT is how IT started. When I was in college, it was not about, I'm going to create something to become this ultra rich person. We used to create things for the betterment of the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
When internet was in its infancy and the World Wide Web was not what it is today, I remember the University of Minnesota students created a tool called Gopher. So you can find IP addresses for different universities so you can connect to them.
Okay.
They didn't do it to make money. They did it to help the student community to connect with each other and enhance the learning experience. The person who invented the spreadsheet, VisiCalc, I think he's a professor at MIT.
Oh, didn't know that.
He did not invent VisiCalc to become the Microsoft of the world. He invented the spreadsheet to help people use PC computers at the time to do accounting, to perform accounting functions. That's how the spreadsheet started. So
I didn't know that. So, it's coming from a good place too. So just helping, solving, putting stuff out there, again, the mission, right? So I guess that's kind of like, would you say open sources kind of have that same type of community, right? They want to help each other. They don't want to make money on it. This should be, hopefully something like this impacts you.
But that's what I love about IT. Our core has always been how can we help? How can we build tools to help humanity, our organizations, ourselves, our students?
That's right.
So that's the core of IT, and I hope we never lose that.
That's strong. So let me ask you, like you said, we covered a lot of cool stuff and a lot of authentic things, and thank you for sharing because you put yourself out there a little bit. And I like that. That's real, right? Our mission, paying it forward. What would you want to leave? Just a couple different things as we leave here. What would you want to put out to, this IT community out there from a paying forward perspective?
Well, I think first and foremost is when you're true to yourself, you can be true to others. The golden rule is treat everybody else like you want to be treated. But don't forget where you're coming from. Do not ever forget where you're coming from. Don't let titles define you. Don't let status define you. Let your actions define you. And you were a student one time, you were unemployed. Hopefully you've never been unemployed, but if you've been unemployed, you've been there.
That's right.
Don't forget those days. Don't forget how you felt in those moments. And let's try to make it better. Let's try to push forward, not individually, together. Let's push forward as a community. Let's push forward as professionals. But don't lose sight that we are in this world for a brief period of time, and we need to make the best out of it. I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, as a CIO, I can die tomorrow, and probably in a week or two, somebody else will be sitting on my chair. But the things that we can leave behind to the next generation is what's really going to stay.
That's right.
Something goes.
Working with different purpose, man. Love it.
And hopefully that will transfer to our children, grandchildren, and be a better community for that.
Absolutely. I mean, this is awesome, Antonio. I mean, you're a friend. You're a hell of a gentleman, man. You're humble, talented, super talented, great leader.
Stubborn, maybe. Stubborn.
You don't win these type of things not being talented, my friend. I'm going to brag for you a little bit. You don't get 2 times CIO of the year for not being talented, and you get CIO of the award year for CIO magazine. That's 3 pretty heavyweight awards. So you got to let me brag a little bit for you.
I appreciate
it. You and your team, because I know how you are.
They're
right?
awesome.
That's, thank you so much for being on this thing. We like authenticity. I love this. This is probably one of my favorite episodes. I was looking forward to this because who you are and
Thank
what you're about. So thank you for saying what you said today. And I hope it resonates. It will resonate with a lot of people.
Well, thank you, Cesar. Again, thank you for allowing me this forum, your forum, to share my experience. I see myself after a long career that I have less years ahead of me that I had 35 years ago. If
If it comes quick.
all these years could be of all these experiences, all these things can help someone out there, it wasn't a wasted time. And I really appreciate you, your team, for giving me this great opportunity. Thank you for letting me shine a light on my team, who are phenomenal. This company that, again, very mission driven, and we live the mission every day. And I'm not saying it because I work here, it's because I live that every day.
I was to say, you're a mission-driven gentleman.
But also,
Very.
thank you for allowing me be myself, and thank you for being yourself too, because it's so easy to have a conversation with someone of your caliber, of your human nature, and somebody with a phenomenal smile.
You're cracking me up. You're a good man. Too bad I'm going to see you. Well, I thought I was going to see you next week. Good luck with your daughter. I got to brag a little bit. It's her third marathon she's attempting to do. She will knock out next week.
Next,
I wish her
this
safety.
weekend, Sunday.
This weekend?
Yeah.
All right.
If you're following the Berlin Marathon,
I hope you can share some pictures.
Gabby Marine, she's running her third marathon.
That's awesome. Have a great time. And it's, again, congratulations. Happy, 35th wedding anniversary. Tell your wife, I said, awesome.
If you allow me, because if I mention one kid, I don't mention the other two.
I get that.
So thank you so much, because also my son, Michael, who works for a hotel chain here in Houston, he is a phenomenal young human being. And my daughter, Diana, she's a mechanical engineer. She actually works for NASA, and she worked with Crew 11, which is right now in space.
What does she do there? She's a mechanical engineer, then?
Well, she's a mechanical engineer. She's protocol operations support officer. So she worked on all the HVAC systems for the space station. And at the same time, she's training to be flight director. I'm very proud of the three of them. They're totally different in their own ways, but more importantly, they're three great human beings. And my wife did a phenomenal job. So kudos to her as well. And so I really
sounds like you had takes two of them.
She was phenomenal. I'll be honest with you. When they were little, I was flying out to different countries all the time.
Oh, traveling.
There's certain sacrifices that come with supporting for a family.
Absolutely.
Sometimes the price that I paid when they were young is I wasn't there as often as I wanted. The reward that I'm getting today is now that they're young professionals and they come to me for advice.
That's cool.
So I tell my wife that I'm enjoying them more now as adults than when they were kids, because I couldn't be there as much as I wanted. So life has an interesting way of working, and it is where it is, right?
You can't get a better reward than that. Your kids, what you've done, the example you set, and having a great partner in your wife and, your life, that's phenomenal. I'm blessed, lucky the same way. And, we can't get there. We don't get here alone, right? And it takes everybody. So, and the fact that coming to you now with all advice, I'm sure you'd love every second of it, man. Enjoy every bit of it, brother.
I enjoy it a lot. Well, the other thing, they understand more about what happened then.
Yeah.
You're not just...
So I know daughter's 28, but what's the ranges?
So my son is the oldest. He's 32. My middle daughter is turning 30 in 8 days. And Gabriela, who's running the marathon, birthday is October 1st. So
love it.
Baby's running the marathon. And she's a software engineer.
And a software engineer.
The Apple didn't...
So she went
on the tree.
She went down her pop's route. She went down. She said, I'm going to do IT.
She surprised me with that. I didn't think she was going to do it. She never coded in high school, but she has a phenomenal personality. She's a really smart girl. She graduated cum laude in all of her own. She's phenomenal in that sense. And yeah, software engineer. Hopefully one day she will be a CIO.
Is that her aspiration?
I don't know. I didn't want to be a CIO.
That's who usually winds up being the CIO, right? But she's going to have a heck of a mentor, I'll tell you that.
The thing with me is that I was thinking my family first, right? So you're not thinking career, you're thinking job.
100%.
And my wife makes fun of me and my former coach and mentor, the guy who gave me that opportunity makes fun of me too, because I used to say that I wanted to be a CIO. But the reason I said it is because as a software engineer, I stressed so much on getting my deadlines that I said, I'm going to die of a heart attack. CIO pays better than software engineer.
And get the pay too to follow it. Man, you're something else, man. I'm happy to know you and your friend. I appreciate you said that. And I look forward to seeing you in Houston when you get back. And I expect to see a lot of pictures. Man.
Thank you for having me. And I'll love to share all those things with you. And thank you for letting me be part of your Next in Line family. Thank you so much for letting me be part of this amazing time and the opportunity. I love every second of it, and I really thank you for that.